Hello, Dochani. Today's word is apartheid. That is the soft pronunciation of the word. Now, apartheid is a word that South Africa has contributed to the world to describe discrimination of one group by another. The person who coined this word is Dr. H.F. Verwoerd, who was the leader of the Nationalist Party that took over power in South Africa in 1948. Now, Dr. Hendrik Verwoerd was a highly educated man. He had a PhD of the University of Stellenbosch, which he took cum laude in psychology and philosophy. I think those were his subjects. He later studied in Berlin and Hamburg in Germany and came back to lead the Nationalist Party. So immediately after it took power in 1948, he decided that Black people and white people must live separately. And he coined this word, apartheid. It's an African word that is pronounced apartheid. Literally means separateness, segregation. Now, he defined it in a way that I thought was ridiculous. He called it good neighborliness. He said Black people and white people must live separately in good neighborliness, and the Black people were going to be sent to the so-called homelands where they originally come from. And we know the rest is history. People were massacred in Sharpeville, 1961, came 1976, and many other events that were tragic. People were detained, killed under the Suppression of Communism Act and other draconian laws. The rest is history, as we say. But come 1994, apartheid is supposed to be gone in terms of the statutes, in terms of the law. But if you look at post-1994, you see that it's alive and kicking. And it does not take much to demonstrate that, to show evidence of that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that apartheid is a South African word, but it did not exist only in South Africa. And even now, as we speak, it does not exist in South Africa. Go to Botswana. The majority of the people are the Botswana, but the Masarwa are there, but they are looked down upon as an inferior group of people. In Zimbabwe here, the apartheid between the Shona-speaking people and the Ndebele people in the south, and how the former group dominated the south. And if you look at Zimbabwe from now and into the future, it would be a pipe dream to think that there would be a president who would be Ndebele speaking. Apartheid is strong in Zimbabwe. Apartheid. Look at the DRC, Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Bakongo are a major group, and that's how they organize themselves as the dominant group against other smaller groups. Even in sporting activities, they organize themselves as the Bakongo group. They only come together when the nation has got to, appear on stages of the world in different competitions. Look at the Cameroon that is now headed by Ndademo, who's 93 years old, Dr. Paul Biya. The tension there are other forms of tension, but the major one is the tension or the apartheid between the French-speaking Cameroonians and the English-speaking Cameroonians. The English speakers of the Cameroon want to secede and become a different state. Apartheid is alive and kicking. In Kenya, let me just mention two major groups, the Luo and the Gikuyu. There's a tension there. One group seems to be able to assert itself politically, the other economically, but there's that tension, there's that apartheid between the two. That is why when Mzee Jomo Kenyatta called it off as the prime minister or president, he decided to select somebody from one of the smaller groups, the Kalenjin, Arab Moi. Maybe he was trying to ease off, to mitigate this tension between the two larger groups. Let us look at Nigeria. There are many ethnic groups, but the major three, the Hausa in the north, which are mainly Muslim, and the Igbo in the east, and the Yoruba in the west, those three groups hate each other. Nigeria is a fictional concept. It's not one nation. Remember, 1966, the Igbos wanted to secede. Maybe it would have been better, I don't know, because Nigeria is too big to manage. So apartheid exists in terms of ethnicity, even in terms of religion, Christians versus Muslims. Apartheid is alive and kicking. Those are just a few examples that I want to give. I don't want to waste time, because if I continue, you'll see many strands of apartheid across the 54 countries of Africa. So the word apartheid is a dramatic word that we must use to explain these divisions among ethnic groups on the African continent. And even Africans in the diaspora practice that apartheid. In London or New York, for example, the Igbos will live among themselves, the Yoruba among themselves, and from other countries you find people who group themselves according to their ethnic group at home. So apartheid is even carried into the diaspora. Anyway, let's leave it, because some of you think apartheid is dead, so let me bury it. Salangal.